You shouldn't have been feeding someone like him. People like that don't deserve saving. The sentence landed before the knock even finished echoing. Nia Brooks stood frozen in the doorway of her fourth-floor walk-up in Cleveland, Ohio. It was just after 6 in the morning. Outside was still dark. She was 22, black, exhausted, still wearing her Navy hospital cafeteria uniform from the night shift. 3 men stood in the corridor in military dress uniforms, brass shining, faces set like they weren't here to ask, they were here to confirm. One spoke, calm and heavy. "We're here about the homeless man you brought breakfast to every morning." Nia's stomach dropped. "Did he die?" The officer glanced past her into the tiny room, mattress on the floor, bills stacked by the sink, then he looked back. His name was Harold Mercer. Hearing his full name out loud felt final. "We need to talk about what you did for him." Nia stepped back and let them in. "I didn't read the letter," she said. "I just mailed it like he asked." The officer nodded. "That matters." Her voice shook. "Is he alive?" "No." The word landed like a brick. Nia saw Harold at sunrise, waiting at the bus stop like he belonged there. "But that's not why we're here," the officer continued. She looked up. "Then why are you here?" "Because someone everyone ignored was treated like he mattered." A pause. "And that changed things." 6 months earlier, Harold Mercer had been invisible. Nia took the 47 bus every morning at 6:30. The stop sat beside a closed laundromat on East 79th Street. That was where Harold slept. Flattened cardboard, a gray blanket. A trash bag holding everything he owned. For 2 weeks, Nia walked past him, not because she didn't care, because caring felt expensive and she was already broke. Mornings she worked in the hospital cafeteria. Evenings she stocked shelves at a grocery store until midnight. Some nights, nursing classes when money allowed. One cold morning in March, she packed an extra peanut butter sandwich, then realized she wouldn't have time to eat it. It would go stale in her locker. Harold was awake when she approached, watching the street like he expected to be chased away. "I made too much, you want it?" He stared at the sandwich, then at her. "You should save it." "Someone like me isn't worth it." She shook her head. "That's not your call." He took it carefully. "Thank you." She turned to leave, then stopped. "You drink coffee?" "Black." The next day she brought coffee in a dented thermos and a banana. By the end of the first week, it wasn't charity. It was routine. 6:15 a.m. every morning, rain or cold. Harold was always there, always waiting. They talked 10 minutes at most. He asked about her classes. She told him she wanted to be a nurse. He listened like it mattered. Then the stories started. "I used to fly people out of places you won't find on maps." Another morning. "I worked for men who never signed their names." She assumed fantasy, confusion, loneliness dressed up as history. She never corrected him because believing him wasn't the point. Treating him like a person was. Not everyone agreed. One April morning, a man in a clean suit kicked Harold's blanket into the gutter. Nia spun around. "What the hell is wrong with you?" The man didn't stop. "He shouldn't be here. That's a human being." The man laughed. "Then let him sleep in your place." Harold reached for the blanket, hands shaking. Nia pulled it back from the dirty water. "You shouldn't do that," Harold said. "They don't like it when you choose people like me." "I don't care what they like." Harold studied her face. "You've got fight in you," he said. "You're going to need it." By May, Nia's kindness had a cost. Rent was late again. Electric shutoff warnings arrived. She started skipping meals so the bread and peanut butter would last. At work, her supervisor, Mrs. Alvarez, noticed. "You eating today?" "I ate earlier." Mrs. Alvarez didn't buy it. "You're feeding that man again. He has a name." "I know," Mrs. Alvarez said, softer. "So do you?" She pressed a container of pasta into Nia's hands. "Sit, eat." Friday morning came. Nia promised herself one more week. She handed Harold his sandwich. He broke it in half and handed part back. "Fair is fair." Nia turned away so he wouldn't see the tears. Then Monday came and Harold wasn't there. His cardboard was gone. His trash bag was gone. Nia waded through 2 buses, panic tightening her chest. Days passed. Shelters had no record. Hospitals wouldn't answer. On the 7th day, Nia left a sandwich and a folded note where Harold usually slept. "Hope you're okay." That afternoon he was back, thinner, weaker, eyes still sharp. "Where were you?" Nia asked. "I thought you were dead." "Had a spell," Harold said. "I'm up right now." She noticed a clean pink scar across his hand. "What happened to you?" "Nothing," he said, too fast. Then he pulled a sealed envelope from his jacket and held it out. "If something happens to me, mail this." Nia hesitated. "What's in it?" Harold's voice turned firm. "Promise me." "I promise." 2 weeks later, Harold collapsed right in front of her. His hands shook violently. The thermos fell. His words slurred. His knees buckled. Nia caught him before his head hit the pavement. "Someone call 911. In the ambulance, a paramedic asked, "You family, I'm all he has." At the hospital, they tried to transfer him. "No insurance, no ID. He's a veteran," Nia said. A doctor stepped in. "Run the VA check." The screen changed. The intake nurse leaned closer. "Most of it's blacked out." The doctor's jaw tightened. "Classified." They kept him. When Nia sat beside his bed, he looked small under white sheets and wires. "You didn't have to stay," he whispered. "Yeah," she said. "I did." He squeezed her fingers. "You kept your promise." 3 days later, Harold died. The hospital handed Nia a plastic bag of belongings and an envelope with her name on it. Inside was a photograph. Harold in uniform, younger, medals across his chest, 2 powerful men beside him. On the back were 3 words. "Remember the girl?" Nia went home shaking and opened the sealed letter Harold had given her. Inside was a handwritten note. "I don't have family. I don't have money. But I had someone who saw me when everyone else looked away. Her name is Nia Brooks. She gave me dignity when the system gave me nothing. Remember her." Nia mailed it the next morning anyway. She expected silence. 2 weeks passed. Then, at 6 a.m., the knock came again. Uniforms filled her hallway. The senior officer spoke quietly. The letter was received. Nia's breath caught. "What does that mean?" "It means someone listened," he said, "and they want to meet you." 2 days later, Nia was on a plane for the first time in her life, staring at clouds like they belonged to someone else. In Washington, a woman in a crisp uniform met her in a quiet office and slid a file across the desk. "Harold Mercer served for decades," she said. "His record was buried under classified stamps and paperwork mistakes." "We lost him," Nia swallowed hard. "You didn't lose him," she said. "You left him." The woman didn't flinch. "That's why you're here." They asked Nia to tell the truth in a room full of cameras and senators, not as a speech, but as a witness. On the day of the hearing, Nia sat at the table with a microphone in front of her and her hands flat so no one would see them shake. A senator leaned forward. "Why did you keep going back?" Nia looked up. "Because no one else did," she said, "and because a person doesn't stop being a person just because you stop looking." Another voice cut in, sharp and dismissive. "So you want the government to save every homeless man in America?" Nia's jaw tightened. "I want you to keep your promises," she said. "Harold kept his. I kept mine. You buried yours in forms." The room went quiet. By the end of that week, a fund was announced in Harold's name, a task force. New tracking rules for veterans whose records were hidden behind classified walls. Nia didn't feel victorious. She felt tired. But for the first time, tired meant something changed. Harold Mercer was buried with full military honors. A flag folded, a bugle played. Later, Nia returned to the bus stop on East 79th. Someone else was sleeping there now. A cardboard sign read "Hungry." Nia set down a paper bag and a thermos, not for praise. Because showing up had become who she was, and because the world doesn't change when people talk. It changes when someone decides, quietly, that a person will not be erased. Every single day, at 6:15 a.m.